Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Leaving high school, my dad and we got into a huge fight. Like, out of high school, I was working, part-time, and he wanted to, put some of my money to the side, to save it, for, getting a car so I can, go to community college or something like that. And I got pissed. I told him, you're not touching my money. That's my money. And he was like, we were getting in an argument. I said, I'm moving back in with my mom. So I packed up my stuff, left, and living back at my mom's place for a little bit. I was living in the basement at the time. And I just remember that moment again, similar to the one in 8th grade. I was like, man, if I don't figure something out, I'm going to be stuck here.
Yeah.
I gotta get out. I gotta do something. So that's when the idea just kind of popped into my head, maybe I should join the military, So that was when I was like, let me see what I need to do to kind of see if that path is the right one.
And so then what there's a difference in what you think is going to happen. And then when you actually get there in terms of your experience of what you think is going to be like, did you reach out to a recruiter or did a recruiter reach out to you?
I reached out to one. I took the CTA, took a train and a bus to a recruiting station on the north side, went in there, started talking to them about the process and everything. But obviously, like I said, I was a little bit of a bigger kid back then. Mm-hmm. So they said the biggest obstacle for me was going to be getting, down to where my tape is going to be good.
Yeah.
Because I had told them, I'm like, I think the max weight before you didn't get taped at the time was 189. For my height. And I told him I've never weighed 189 in my life.
Right.
That's not going to happen. And just that process of wrapping my body in foil or plastic wrap, starving myself, running every single day of just to shed my body down.
Yeah.
That process was absolutely grueling. It was it was breaking, because I knew I was just doing stuff that wasn't normally who I am. But in my head, I was always just kind of I need to keep going. I need to make this work. And especially in the recruiter's eyes, they're just trying to get you in there and get you going. You know what I mean? They need to hit their quota too. So there was some conversation with them about what the process was going to be like, what the journey was going to be like, but it was never really crystal clear until I actually got there.
Was the Army the thing that you wanted to do, or did you have to look around for a little bit?
I didn't do any research. Didn't do any research at all, man. I'll be honest. I remember I took the ASVAB, that test you take before you go in and all that kind of stuff. And I remember I had scored really high. I don't remember exactly what the score was, but they were like, you could pretty much have any job you want. And I remember I was sitting in the recruiter's office. I'm like, man, I wonder what I should do. And this guy sitting in there, he goes, you should be a combat engineer. And I'm like, combat engineer? What's that? He goes, man, 12 Bravo, you blow shit up with C4 explosives. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. You do that kind of stuff. You're out in the field with the guys camping. I'm hearing that, and I'm like, all right, that sounds a little bit different, but it sounds pretty cool. Signed the paper right there. I said, all right, that's what I want to do. And everyone was like, you're sure? I was like, yeah, why not, right? It's 3 years. Yeah, let's do it. Sign the paper.
So what ends up happening, right? How long before you ship off to boot camp?
So I had ended up shipping out that fall, around after high school, around there. And that was just a crazy journey. I live for those kind of cultural experiences. Oh. But man, when you get in there, man, it is just a culture shock unlike any other. My recruiter didn't help me at all either. He didn't tell me I needed to bring a razor or any of the necessary things. When you first get there, I'm thinking oh, I'm going to get all this stuff, they're going to give it to me right when I get there. Yeah. I'm getting smoked for not having a razor. People are yelling at me blah, 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 blah. Meeting all these different people from all these different places. Man, that was a crazy experience.
I'm surprised that you weren't provided that. When I went to boot camp, there was, it was a bad razor, but it was a razor that they gave us.
Yeah. When we had gotten there, initially when we got there, we didn't go to the shop ed or anything to pick stuff up. So we ended up going after the first 3 days, I think, after we were doing all of our medical stuff and stuff like that. But I never really knew oh, I need to bring this stuff. And it was weird, definitely.
Now that I think about it, maybe we also did have to bring it because we didn't get our debit cards.
Yes.
For a little bit. So maybe you're right. Maybe I did have to bring one, but that's crazy. Yeah, that's something that you forget, or at least they should have told you.
Yeah, it should have done. Yeah. Whatever, man. I look back at it. It was funny now.
Right. Yeah. In hindsight. And then, so then what was your you said you didn't really do much research on what boot camp was like, right?
Yeah, not really.
Because I sat down and watched a ton of videos, and I thought I was going to be ready. Like, I thought that was going to be, let me tell you, dude, you didn't miss out much. Like, it's not going to, it didn't change anything. I just knew what was going to happen in certain parts of like, oh, now we're going to get, messed with the whole day. Like, that's about as much as I knew, but it actually didn't help me get any better at not getting caught doing stuff. Like, it was just as bad.
Definitely.
And so then what are your drill sergeants like?
Drill sergeants, back in the day, our guy, Drill Sergeant Kavanaugh, he was the one for our company. Crazy dude. He had these like light blue eyes that just like pierced right through you. There was another one, Drill Sergeant Hernandez. He was a weird guy. He was a cool guy, but a weird guy, man. Like he was like, he was gay. He was into dudes and stuff. And like, he was always like the one like drill sergeant who like would talk to us like we were normal and stuff. Like,
right.
He would like, we'd be out in the field and he'd tell us like, a story around the campfire or something like that, or, some lesson like that, like something he learned in life. And honestly, like my company specifically, like my platoon, they were really cool. So, I look back at it, we had to do a lot of, crazy stuff, getting caught stealing Nutri-Grain bars, all that kind of stuff. But it was an experience. Like, I'm one of those dudes. I live for an experience. Like, it's like you said with the videos and stuff. Like, I don't like watching videos on movies and stuff before I watch them. I guess for that experience, I was like, let me just really take it full force and just see what it's about.